Okay. Are you
We're
looking for
live.
something or are you saluting us?
Oh, I'm looking for you guys. Yeah.
Oh,
I should have went over here more instead of
Turn,
it was a little
did
confusing.
I did a halfway. Yeah. So
turn your
I should have
brightness
went
up
like
and you'll
this.
find us.
Yeah. There you are.
All right. Is it Monday? It's
It's
Monday.
Monday.
It all blends
I,
together. It doesn't
We didn't
matter.
have
yeah.
a weekend, so we're not sure.
Yeah. It was a crazy weekend. And I got some
What?
couple questions for you guys.
Yeah. What happened?
I don't even know. I don't know. I was partying all weekend at our listing. That's what was happening.
It was a block party at our open houses, right?
Yeah. Well, you left me. Yeah. You left me there to
Well, that's neither here
dry.
nor there. You know. Well, tell us what happened
Over
on Friday. What happened? So Friday from what 11 to 5.
Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, 11 to 5 had an open house on our listing that just went on the market in Arvada. We already got a bunch of showings scheduled right when it hit the market, which was Thursday. So I decided to do a little open house on Friday, let people in. And we got over 26 groups just on a Friday from 11 to 5. And I thought that was a lot. The next day, Saturday, we got over 50 groups. And I'm still recovering from that. It was just so many people. So you guys have seen the showings and stuff. What do you guys think the market's doing right now? What would you say? Who's winning in this market?
Well, I'm sort of confused because you see on social media, we're in all these groups. We hear of all these agents complaining about not getting showings. They're doing open houses and nobody comes in, and that's not what we're experiencing. Maybe it just comes down to the right strategy. Uh, the open house that you're talking about, we use the OfferX strategy,
Mm-hmm.
and we create that demand, we create that buzz, we create this kind of the hottest listing on the market, so that when we do open houses, we do get the 30s, the 50s, the hundreds in a weekend. We generate that demand on purpose. So if you're not getting those results, maybe you don't have the right strategy. So if you
Or
ask us, we're always busy getting these results. But if you ask other people, you might get a different story. Sorry,
oh, it's
Tiana.
okay. And it's about a system. I think a lot of people or a lot of agents get frustrated with open houses and they don't get the results that they want because it's a system. And kudos to you, Nathaniel. You've created an amazing open house system, but it is an event. So you need to start today. Nathaniel is working on his open houses for this weekend. It's an event. You have to invite people. You have to get it on social. You have to have enough signs. You have to have things that are of value when people come. Because it's not just about the house, it's about giving people value and educating people in this market so that they can make the right decisions for themselves and their families. So I think sometimes open houses are looked at as an obligation. And I'm just going to kind of put some signs up and hopefully some people will come through. And you have to treat it like an event. And I think that that's something that we've focused on for quite a few years now. And just if you're going to do something, do it right.
Yeah, and I just got a text from last night from another agent who wanted me to host their open house for this weekend, just from the results that we're getting. So it is a system, and I think it just builds the excitement in the market. When this house is blasted all over social media, there's an event, like, come by. We have over 20 open house signs driving people in, and also to prevent them from flying away from the wind, and you can still get there. So we have, I just make it a system. People sign in right away, just get their contact information. It's good for them to follow up. What are they seeing in the market? And I made a post last week where I was like, I love open house because it gives me real-time feedback on what people are doing instead of just looking at the stats that come out, months later. when you're already in a different market.
Well, it gives you a chance to be in the trenches.
Mhm.
You're in the trenches with the market. You're getting immediate feedback from buyers and sellers out there. So what is some of the feedback that you get from these visitors?
The most of the feedback is, why is this so busy?
Because they're standing in
Um,
line just to get in the
yeah,
house, right?
exactly. Yeah, because they've been looking at properties for a little bit now, and they're like, I've never seen it this busy. Like, what is going on? Even agents are seeing it. Like yesterday, I scheduled a showing on our listing because someone contacted us, went there, and we had 4 agents showing the same property at the same time. And they're like, is the market turning? So they're trying to figure out what's going on. But I'll say people are starting to be like getting off the fence and starting to actually find the property that they want instead of just looking at what the market is sort of doing. So
So
they're
all
asking me,
the advice that we've been giving people is that when interest rates drop, it sort of creates a frenzy. And this was, several weeks, months ago, and that's what we're seeing, right?
Mhm.
So rates dropped last week. I think there was an article that said, rates are under 6% for the first time in, I don't know, millions of years, whatever the headline was. But yes, that's exactly what we've been preaching for the last few months, is that when these rates drop, this is what's going to happen. And guess what? It's happening. So where were all the buyers that were, a few weeks ago, where they could still get somewhat of a good deal or negotiate some, concessions or whatever other terms? Now you're competing.
Mhm.
So it's
Which
a
is
different way.
fine. You just have to make sure that you have the right strategy for competition, because it is a strategy.
Mhm.
And you have to know what questions to ask and how to make yourself look really, really good on paper to sellers. And that is a strategy, and that takes a lot of education and access to resources. And so I think that's important. I also think, we talked a little bit last week about just the technology and how things are changing. And that's the struggle in our industry right now, is trying to adapt to and adopt a lot of these different things. And I think there's an old school mentality among agents where the only reason I would do an open house is to get buyer leads and to get new buyers that are coming through. It's not to sell the house. I'm never going to sell the house. It doesn't help my sellers. And I think that's a total disservice to sellers. When we decide and we offer to do open houses, it is 100% for the benefit of our seller. Any kind of buyer that comes through there is secondary to that, because I know, especially since, I don't want to bring up from a year ago, but the whole lawsuit with NAR and changing of commissions and buyers agents commissions and things like that, and created this big old mess in our industry. I think that got to the public, and there's a lot of buyers who are coming through that don't have agents, who, if we didn't have an open house, they would not see our clients' homes. And in the last 6 months, we've had that happen more than ever before in our careers. And so we have to open it up for our sellers in order to get the most amount of people through to see their properties, because we're seeing a huge amount of unrepresented buyers come through our open houses. And those are buyers that our sellers would be missing.
yeah, that's 100% of my business right now is unrepresented buyers coming through my open houses. And I'm currently showing.
Yeah, that's a benefit to our seller, because they can't just call an agent and schedule a showing. That is the only way they're going to see the house. And maybe a year or two ago, that wasn't the case, but it's definitely the case now. So when we hold our open houses, it is 100% to create more exposure for our client, our seller, because, and like you said, you talked a little bit last week, Ruben, about Zillow and all these other places that these buyers can get this information. So yeah, they'll just like, oh, there's an open house, I'm just going to stop by. I don't need an agent, because it's so easy for them to do this. So if you're not making it easy for people to find your client's home, probably need to have a different strategy.
A couple points to that. point number one, as far as helping sell the property, especially when other buyers are competing for our listings, we get to look at the buyer, eyeball to eyeball, and see, all right, do these buyers actually like the property? What's their emotion? What's their tie to it? And we're able to ask them questions, qualifying questions, so that when they do put an offer in, we know exactly who that buyer is and will they close on the property. That is invaluable when it comes to evaluating offers for our seller. We get to know the quality of the buyer, the motivation of the buyer, and that helps us determine which offer we're going to go with. That's point number one. Point number two is I'm tired of these agents saying they graduated from doing open houses. That's a bunch of BS. Like, I'm Mr. Big Shot real estate agent. I don't do open houses anymore. I did that when I was new to get business, but now that I'm so awesome, I don't have to do open houses anymore. Well, guess what? You do. You should, because that's how buyers are finding listings. That's the market.
Well, it's not only unrepresented buyers, it's buyers who, for whatever reason, like we go on vacation. I get it. Like agents go on vacation, whatever. And buyers are able to still come see that house, even if their agent is out of town. And we don't mind that. Like, please, if you're not available to show your client, guess what? We do open houses on our listings. You can send them at any time, and we can catch up with the agent afterwards and answer any of their questions. But that's another aspect of, sometimes someone has an agent and they're just not available, and that's fine. That's another reason why we feel it's important to hold our listings open. I don't want anybody to not be able to see my client's property for any reason.
Exactly.
Well, and we also hold it for multiple hours, not just, a 2-hour window. We got a lot of compliments from that, where people came in, they're like, man, I couldn't make it to this other open house. I'm so glad you guys had it from 11 to 5. That was a perfect window. Like, we got a lot of compliments from that, just holding it open. And a lot of people who do hold open houses, because they might feel obligated, are only holding it for, hour, 2 hours. And that's a disservice to everyone who's trying to, adjust their schedules, because usually it's from 12 to 2. People are at lunch, people are doing stuff on the weekend, they already have plans. So when they're coming back from their plans, around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, when we're still holding our open house, they come in.
And the other, we did hear that too. And the other benefit is sometimes, a spouse drops in, they look at it, and they're like, oh, I got to bring my husband or my wife back, and it's open long enough so that they can come back. And those that actually came on their way and they're like, hey, I only have 5 minutes, I want to take a look. And we're like, hey, we're open till 5. Feel free to come back if you have any other questions. And we had quite a few of them come back, either with family members or decision makers or whatever it was. And that longer window gives all that opportunity for buyers to, get emotionally tied to our seller's listing.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I love the fact that they can really become committed to the property because they took their time, and it sets up a transaction down the road to be so much smoother when they felt like, I did so much due diligence and I am ready to do this. Your fallout rate goes way down if you have one at all. And so there's just so many benefits about it. I think the thing that's interesting, and I love that you touched on it, Nathaniel, just little tweaks that we've made and how we're doing things differently over the last 4 days, because while you guys were handling the showings and open houses and everything, I was sitting here on this thing all weekend because of the people who were coming through, agents, whatever. A lot of people had questions, mostly about OfferX, and we expected that because it is brand new. But to your point, when people were like, I notice a difference that you're doing it from 11 to 5. That's different. I noticed that you had 25 signs out. That's different. I noticed that you have a banner outside the front door explaining to me exactly how this open house works and exactly what's going to happen when I go in here. I notice the fact that you have a sign in the front yard for OfferX, and I can scan it and go see how many offers there are and what those offers are. The calls I got first, some were like, that's weird. That's odd. I've never seen that before. That's different. That's strange. That's unique. All these words, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want. I want people to be a little confused as to what we're doing, because that means it's different and it's working. And so that was what was exciting for me. Even today, Ruben, when we were in the car and I had to take that phone call and the guy was like, that's weird. Is it weird?
More.
Is
He's
it
all,
weird?
That's
yeah,
weird.
so that's really weird, but tell me more.
Yeah.
Like, sweet. That's exactly what I want you to say. I'll take the weirds all day long, because nobody makes history that we're a little weird.
Yep. No,
so anyway,
I agree.
That was my point.
Yeah, I don't know how we got on the subject of doing open houses, but
Well, I think it's just just that's what we're seeing. You asked us what we're seeing in the market, and that's what we're seeing in the market. But we're also seeing, Nathaniel, you've shown some buyers this weekend and had multiple people in those showings as well that weren't our listings. And so I think it just circles back to what you said in the beginning, Ruben. We told you all this about 12 months ago, and people were waiting. I'm just going to wait for rates to drop. Well, okay, fine. Here we are. So whatever we talked about a year ago and you decided to wait for rates to drop, we need to talk again, because it's a different strategy. Not saying it can't be done. You just need to have a completely different strategy now going into purchasing a home and selling a home. You just need to have a different strategy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, I think we're up against our time. It went by really fast, which is cool.
It did.
So
I think we're just excited, excited that different things that we have been implementing for a while are proving that they work. And I think that's exciting.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, comment buyer, if you're a buyer looking and you're monitoring the market and you want to get our opinion on what your strategy should be in this market. Comment seller, if you're thinking about selling this spring. I haven't seen a better market in the last 24 months. Yeah. So that's pretty exciting. So good stuff, guys. So anything you want to add before we close?
Just be ready. If you do decide to pull the trigger, be ready. Make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Me and Ruben are licensed now as
congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, just finally got that licensed. Final approval this morning, which is
Mortgage
great.
Loan officer official.
Yep, already working on one together, so that pretty nice to see. And yeah, just make sure that you're ready to pull the trigger, because like I said, those showings that I did last week, there's already 9 offers on one property, and if you were taking your time to get pre-approved and stuff, then you probably missed out on that property.
Yep.
So
the only thing that I would say is there might be, let's see, some people are like, wow, you guys are kind of doing a lot. Like, we have the OfferX thing going on. Nathaniel got his mortgage loan officer license. You have your mortgage loan officer license, Ruben. We're doing a lot of things. And sometimes people don't understand why. When we find a challenge or we find a prevalent problem among our clients and our people, we'll go out and figure out what we need to do to solve that. And I think that's what you're seeing with the Estrada Real Estate Group right now. We've come across a lot of problems over our 27 years. And so anytime that you see us adding to what we're doing, there's a need, and we're just trying to find a solution to that. And so everything that you see us doing comes from someone had a problem when we're solving it. Not just because we thought it'd be fun and let's try it out. Like, there's a reason behind it.
Good point. It comes from pain, actually.
Yeah.
It comes from pain. And we're not going to eliminate 100% of the pain, but we're definitely going to try to alleviate it. More importantly, not just for us, but more importantly for our clients, our buyers and our sellers out there. So
real estate does not need to be this hard. It just doesn't. It's really simple. At the end of the day, it's really simple. And I think it's just been year after year after year of all of us muddying the waters and making it complicated. We just need to go back to basics. It really can be simple.
Well, what I wake up doing every day is how can I eliminate the friction in the real estate transaction? That's what gets me up in the morning. And it's little tweaks, it's little, we adapt and we try to eliminate that friction little by little. I don't think we can eliminate 100% of it, but we want to create the most frictionless transaction possible, and bringing a buyer and a seller together. That's what I wake up wanting to do every day. So I think that's it, guys. We ran over, but that was exciting. Good stuff.
All right.
So, all right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.